I remember the weight of that summer in 1947 like it still sits on my chest. The way smoke lingers long after the fire has died. My name is Abdurrahman and I'm 87 now, older than most of the stories people tell about those days. I've carried this one quietly for decades, because some pains you don't speak of lightly. But lately, I've been thinking that if I don't tell it, it might fade altogether, and two young lives deserve to be remembered, not as a tragedy for headlines, but as a reminder of what borders can do to ordinary hearts. It might fade altogether, and two young lives deserve to be remembered, not as a tragedy for headlines, but as a reminder of what borders can do to ordinary hearts. I was in my early 20s then, working as a clerk in Lahore, helping with relief efforts after the riots started tearing everything apart. Families were streaming across new lines on maps that hadn't existed a month before. I saw things no one should see. People leaving homes they'd lived in for generations, carrying only what they could hold. But among all that chaos, there was one story that stayed with me clearest. The story of Ismat and Jito. Ismat was 15, from a Pathan family in Rawalpindi. Jito was 17, from a Hindu merchant family in Amritsar. Their families had known each other for years. Every summer, they'd meet in Srinagar. Cool air, houseboats on the lake, families sharing meals.
Welcome, everyone. Look at the mountains.
Let's go to the houseboat.
Their families had known each other for years. Every summer, they'd meet in Srinagar. Cool air, houseboats on the lake, families sharing meals. The children played together at first, then talked more as they grew. Small glances turned into something deeper. It was the kind of young love that's quiet and sure, the kind that doesn't need grand words. They wrote letters when apart, simple things about the weather or a book they'd read. Nothing improper, just two kids dreaming the same dream. Then partition came. The announcement hit like a storm. One day you're neighbors, the next you're on opposite sides of a border drawn in haste. Trains full of refugees, violence in the streets, fear everywhere. Ismat's family stayed in what became Pakistan. Jito's crossed to India. Letters stopped, contact broke. But Ismat couldn't let it go. She was young, determined. One night, she slipped away from home. She walked, hitched rides, made her way to a Hindu refugee camp near the border. There, she told the workers she was a Hindu girl separated from her family during the riots. In those days, everything was confusion. Papers lost, stories overlapping. No one pressed too hard. They put her on a convoy headed to Amritsar. Once there, she found someone she trusted and sent word to Jito's family. Jito came running. When they saw each other again after months of silence, it was like the world stopped for a moment. His family knew the risks, but they saw the truth in her eyes. With their blessing, they went to the Golden Temple. They married there, simple ceremony, surrounded by a few witnesses. For a short time, it felt like love had outrun the madness. It didn't last. Ismat's family in Rawalpindi reported her missing, said she'd been abducted. Under the agreement between India and Pakistan, the one to recover abducted women and return them to their original sides, her case went forward. Governments had decided these matters were about honor and numbers, not individual choices. Consent wasn't part of the equation if you were a minor, if your parents claimed you. Ismat was listed as abducted, even though she'd walked across willingly. Jito fought it. He went to Kamla bin Patel, the social worker handling many of these recoveries. She was kind but bound by the rules. He told her everything, how Ismat had come on her own, how they loved each other, how this wasn't abduction. But the law saw a 14 or 15-year-old Muslim girl in Hindu territory, parents demanding her back. Kamlaben listened, but the order came down. Return her. 1 day passed. 2. 3. On the 4th, news reached him. Her parents had kept her. When Kamlaben saw Ismat again, the girl was different. Clothes changed, voice hardened, eyes cold. She said she wanted nothing more to do with Jito, spoke with anger, rejection. It didn't sound like her. Jito refused to believe it. He crossed over, risking everything, searching Lahore. But Ismat and her family had vanished, moved, hidden, gone. He kept saying, if she could speak freely, she would never say those words. He believed pressure, family honor, maybe threats had changed her. But there was no proof, no way to reach her.
He never stopped looking. Years went by. Violence still flared now and then. Jito grew sick. Tuberculosis took hold. His body weakened. Color left his face. 5 years after it all began, he was last seen, frail, alone, still carrying that hope somewhere inside him. I don't know the exact day he passed, but I know he died still loving her.
I thought about them often over these long years. Age has bent my back, as I said, but memories stand upright. That story shows how fragile we are when larger forces decide our fates. Borders drawn by men in rooms far away, laws meant to heal, but that tore instead. Fear that turned families against their own children. Love was real between Ismat and Jito, innocent, brave, but time and circumstance were stronger. I tell you this not to make you despair, but to make you pause. If love ever finds its way to you, hold it gently. Don't assume tomorrow will give you another chance. Protect the quiet moments, the small promises. Because when history moves, it moves without asking permission, and some separations have no reunion. I tell you this not to make you despair, but to make you pause. If love ever finds its way to you, hold it gently. Don't assume tomorrow will give you another chance. Protect the quiet moments, the small promises. Because when history moves, it moves without asking permission, and some separations have no reunion.